This entire Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel battle throughout rookie minicamp has been, a whirlwind. But, one thing that I feel like we haven't talked about enough, and even me, is there's a possibility that both these quarterbacks are just really, really good. And, I've heard, beat reporters say, oh, Dylan Gabriel, so much better, so much more accurate, tighter spiral. And I've heard guys completely opposite say Shedeur Sanders looks like far and away the better quarterback at camp thus far. And you know what? I, for a second there, kind of got into the mix of kind of deciding for myself who looked better. And obviously, with me not being at camp, it's very tough to understand. And, what I came to the conclusion of, with all the footage that we have seen, I thought, personally, Shedeur Sanders looked really good. And, you see an interception there by Dylan Gabriel, right? Everything that we saw was a narrative shown by the media. And a lot of guys, want to say Dylan. A lot of guys want to say Shedeur. But at the end of the day, what if both these guys are just really good, or what if they're both just not ready? I feel like that's something that we need to take into account. Now, with that being said, we are just a few days away from the start of OTAs, okay? Now, this is where we're going to really have to deep dive into the film in terms of the 7-on-7, the 11-on-11. I want to see a pass rush. I want to see what these quarterbacks can do when Myles Garrett is coming at you, because that is a lot different than a rookie. Or, for the most of the time, they were going on 7-on-7s. There was no pass rush, right? So, although I want to sit here, and talk about, oh, this guy looks better, this guy looks worse, at the end of the day, it's way too early to tell, okay? But I want to give both these guys credit, because Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion, looked really good. Dylan Gabriel looked really good. Both these guys look good. And I know a lot of you guys are going to sit here and say, no. Dylan Gabriel looked better. No. Shedeur Sanders was only 8 of 16. Those numbers don't really make any sense to me. I want to see what they do versus in 11-on-11s, right? I want to see what they can do in the preseason. And we're so far away from that. And the biggest thing that you can take away from these practices, guys, is leadership. Leadership. Are they taking control of practice? Are they being vocal in the huddle? Are they being vocal on and off the field? That is something I take a lot in, right? When I see someone do that, I'm like, okay, wait. This actually means a lot for not only the team, but the player going forward. It shows you how much he's locked in. It shows you how much that he cares about the team. And he's just been here. And I'll tell you what, Shedeur Sanders, again, I'm not taking any credit away from Dylan Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders, every single practice, you know what he did? Instead of going into the locker room and taking a shower and, getting into some comfy clothes, whatever it may be, you know what he did? Stayed at practice, stayed at the practice field. And you know who he worked with? Undrafted free agent wide receivers. You know why? Because those guys aren't guaranteed anything. Those guys could be cut tomorrow when no one would even know. So he said, let me work with these guys. Let me help their chances of making this football team, or help their chances of making a different football team. He stayed after practice 20, 30 minutes working with these guys when he could be relaxing, resting, preparing for the next day of practice. So right there, that alone shows me leadership traits. And I wanted to show you guys this article really quickly, breaking down Shedeur Sanders as a leader and what he has showcased to the coaches so far. However, before we dive into that, I need you guys to do me a big favor and hit that like button. Helps out the channel so much. I know you guys are probably sick and tired of hearing about this nonsense right now, but I want to keep you guys updated with everything, right? And if you want more of these videos, all you got to do is comment down below P2. And lastly, and most importantly, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new. Guys, it is free. It literally does not cost anything to subscribe. And we will be covering the Cleveland Browns throughout the entirety of not only OTAs, but mandatory minicamp and then training camp as well, even throughout preseason. So when Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel are playing preseason football, we're going to be going in, breaking down the film, maybe even doing some live streams. So make sure you guys are subscribed and turn on post notifications. That way you guys are notified every time we post one of these videos. And let me know what you think. Do you think one player has looked better? Do you want to just say, listen, equal playing field? Let's just keep seeing what they do going forward. Let me know what your guys' opinion is. And with that being said, let's dive into this article that just came out about the leadership of these two players. All right, so let's start from the top. Cleveland Browns fans will have a better sense of the team's future under center when organized team activities, OTAs, begin on May 27th. So we are about 9 days away from that because they have the same head coach. I believe teams with new head coaches are able to start on the 19th, which is tomorrow. Now, Deshaun Watson is unlikely to touch the field, obviously. We're going to see Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dillon Gabriel, and who will emerge as the #1 quarterback to start this year. Now, obviously, in my opinion, Joe Flacco, even a couple of years ago, showed potential to win games, and that's what they're trying to do. They need to win games. So I bet Joe Flacco is a starter to begin the year, but I would not be surprised at all if Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel are the starter by week 8 or week 9. I would not. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're starter week 1. Now, let's scroll down a little bit. Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders already a leader among fellow rookies, okay? Now, this is very, very important, but, okay, one thing we need to take consideration of, this needs to translate into OTAs. If he translates this into the veteran minicamp, that is huge. Guys, you don't understand how huge that would be for a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders. Now, during one of his recent Twitch live streams, Sanders was seen interacting with rookie running back Quinshon Judkins. During the stream, the former Colorado QB advised Judkins to wear his socks properly to help the 21-year-old avoid any potential uniform fines. So, okay, that's not much. We want to see more on-the-field type of stuff, and I actually did see that as well. Now, let's scroll down a little bit more. The 23-year-old signal caller is coming off a Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winning season that saw him lead the country with a 74% completion rate, while also pacing the Big 12 in completions, 358, 37 touchdowns, and a passing efficiency of 168.2. In other words, it's far from surprising that he finished 8th in 2025 Heisman Trophy rating. So, going down, with OTAs and training camp rapidly approaching, the time is ticking for Sanders to prove himself in year 1. The Browns quarterback outlook is already promising, given that FanDuel Sportsbook is currently giving him the 13th best odds at plus 2,600 to be named the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, honestly, that's not bad. For a 5th-round draft pick to be 13th in terms of Rookie of the Year voting, I mean, that is insane. Now, the reason that this is important, guys, is Vegas, they know stuff, okay? They know stuff. They would not have, this type of odds if he was not going to be a starter at all. And maybe they're just buying the hype. Maybe they're just, maybe a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, let's just throw some money on it. But at the end of the day, they know what they're doing. They know that he is a potential guy that could win this starting job going into this season. But obviously, there's a long way to go. Long way to go. You got to prove yourself during OTAs, and those are right around the corner. Okay? Now, it was just a quick little update of the leadership quality that he had in terms of, staying after the field or after practice on the field with some UDFAs, working endlessly, being a leader on and off the field, right? So, that is very important. The play needs to be consistent, though, and we'll see that going forward. OTAs next week. Get ready, guys. Get ready. It's going to be so much fun. So, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the family. And the people that say he doesn't have a tight spiral, man, it is unreal. There were a couple of plays that I didn't love it, right? Didn't love it, but there are some really good plays that, man, the spiral looks beautiful. So, if he can, look at that. Beautiful ball right there. I don't know what people are complaining about. Let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.